This second act for Natlan's Archon Quest started off really hot, like really hot. And cool at the same time, because my man, Il Capitano, the first of the Fatui Harbingers, came in cold to challenge Mavuika, who gave a fire showcase that slightly damaged Capitano. So even though he retreated, it's very clear that Capitano is Archon level and by no means delusional. I actually really like that he refuses to take advantage of someone's weaknesses in a fight. He didn't show it here, but it's clear that his honor is consistent with his first appearance at Signora's funeral, where he dismissed her dishonorable tactics. It's really cool that the first of the Harbingers has a strong sense of honor, since that can add some nuance to just him being a Harbinger. I'm actually really hyped for his future role in the Archon Quest, because he's both super strong and hints that his motive for acquiring Mavuika's Gnosis has some honorific motivation to it. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the premise of this act, which increases the threat level of the Abyss on Natlan by being able to adapt further against Natlan, where we're unable to use the Ode of Resurrection to revive Kachina from the Night Realm due to the abyssal influence attacking the sacred fire. The adaptation against Natlan is precisely why it is the worst affected nation by the Abyss, and rescuing Kachina becomes the driving point behind this act. And I'll be honest, the overall narrative storytelling to rescue her isn't the most compelling, mainly because, once again, MiHoYo decides to put lots of story focus to relatively generic NPCs that I won't be remembering after this update. For example, I get that using Tepexpan and Tamuin to cast doubt onto Kachina serves to echo that some people in Natlan are just rude people. It also serves a good way to highlight some of Mualani's emotional mindset, which I actually thought was a great addition to the mature side that we saw from her in the previous act. But can't we do better by not using NPCs here? For example, there was a golden opportunity because when Mavuika proposes two ways to investigate Kachina's situation, Mualani shows a more emotional approach by refusing to acknowledge either way as being correct, while Kanich literally shows a more rational approach by preferring the method that sacrifices fewer lives. So this was a golden opportunity to provide more interactions and potential conflict between Mualani's and Kanich's differing ideals. Right? Why not use Kanich instead of these NPCs? I get that Vichama's story with his friend Malko shows the hardships of being a hero, despite the many praise that heroes get. But again, we can do better because there are perfect opportunities to put actual memorable and playable characters onto. For example, they could have added these nuances to Chaska and play around with the fact that Chaska felt guilty that she wasn't able to protect Kachina the first time, and give these moments of saving Kachina to Chaska instead of the NPCs. Because I can tell you that even though a big reason that Chaska tagged along with us was precisely due to her guilt, she doesn't really do anything special to save Kachina. And don't even get me started with Yan-san either. Anyways, while the premise of saving Kachina was a good opportunity to give more struggle and conflict to her playable characters, I felt that this act's story suffered once again due to NPC syndrome. In fact, I'm even scared because the supposed traitor helping Capitano is likely gonna be another NPC. Ah! Kachina is eventually rescued with the help of Mavuika, who sacrifices some of her precious items to help us all escape from the Night Realm. So, in summary, it was a good premise, but the execution of the story suffered. With that said, I want to go over Mavuika and some of the lore that she provides to us, which is the most interesting part of this act. Mavuika talks to us about the idea of fate, where she believes the past, present, and future are all connected as one because the present is a result of the past, and the future is already fated to happen. Funnily enough, I wonder if Nahida and Irminsul would have something to say against this. All of the Pyro Archons are mortal and ascend to the Divine Throne by borrowing power from Ronva, the heavens. And so, alongside Farina, Mavuika makes a case for herself as the most human Archon. I also wonder if there's lore relating to Vanessa here, because she's from Natlan as well and ascended to Celestia. Jeez, I really hope that there's Vanessa lore in the future Natlan acts. Anyways, Mavrika establishes that due to the Abyss's growing adaptation, Natlan only has one more year left. 500 years ago, Mavrika established a 500-year-long plan to save Natlan by placing her life in the sacred flame so that she could be resurrected during the present era, in her second life. Just this alone has a lot of similarities to Fontaine's Archon Quest, where both nations have a looming danger, with Fontaine's prophecy drowning the city, and Natlan's abyss crisis engulfing the nation in flames. Mavuika's 500-year plan is super interesting because, similar to Fossilor's plan, why does this plan need 500 years? Is there any assurance that it'll even work? The plan to completely defeat the Abyss involves uniting all 6 of Natlan's tribes by first gathering a hero from each tribe, with the current heroes being Xilonin, Kinich, Yansan, Moalani, and 2 more unknown heroes whose time will arrive soon, as well as the Traveler. Capitano challenged Mavuika because this 500-year oath is still unfulfilled, so it's personal to him. Maybe he's a Natlan born. Maybe he was supposed to be a Pyro Archon at some point but was unable to ascend. Regardless, the fact that he seems to be at least invested into Natlan's future brings a lot of interesting nuance to the story coming up. So Natlan is really shaping up to show us why its ideal is war. And I really hope MiHoYo ups the stakes with the future Natlan acts, especially since we'll have more lore about Saurians, Sovereigns, and dragons in general. Alrighty, so in short, while Act 2 was still engaging since it didn't really drag, I do wish we give more character moments to our playable characters instead of NPCs. But of course, I'm still very excited for the rest of the Natlan story, so please make Capitano playable. Please, I beg, I beg. That'll be it for me. Thank you for watching as usual, and catch ya next time. A Roundway Other out.